You got one guy on one end, all giddy and hippity-hoppity about TikTok.
Yeah.
And then you got the other side of the spectrum saying, we might need to completely eliminate TikTok. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Welcome, modern day mystics, fellow truth seekers, James and Justin, back at it again. It looks like TikTok is in trouble. You've got a lot of opinions on TikTok.
I do. I have a lot of conspiratorial opinions, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the American government is threatening to ban TikTok in America, which is pretty crazy. So there's this news for our broadcast on this. We're going to take a look at it from NBC, and then it's showing kind of like one side of the story, and then there's a TikTok video that I have, a clip that shows kind of like the opposite side of this story. So we're going to take a look at both. Make sure you stick around to the end because it's really good what comes in the second part. So
let's try to reserve all my judgments for both videos.
That's right. Okay, so let's get into it.
The Biden administration is turning up the heat on the social media app TikTok. NBC News has learned the White House is now demanding its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, sell its stake in the app or else face a possible ban here in the U.S. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Kristen Welker joins us now from Washington with the latest on this. So, Kristen, walk us through what we're learning about all this and what is the reaction from TikTok?
Hey, Joe. Well, it's good to be with you. This really marks a dramatic shift in the Biden administration's policy towards the hugely popular app TikTok. By the way, it has more than 100 million monthly users. NBC News has confirmed from a source.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of users.
Million users.
Yeah.
And imagine overnight being like, nope, you're all cut off.
Yeah, think about that, especially for people that are frequent users of it.
Oh, what if your business is tied to it?
Yeah, imagine it was like, there's no coffee tomorrow. There's no coffee. Which, by the way, we both use TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we don't use the thing. So even if I say some critical things through this video about, maybe getting into conspiracy, just rest assured, it's not like I don't understand why people like it.
Yes.
But I have my opinions about why some people feel, a little skeptical about the app.
Yeah. All right.
Source close to TikTok that the administration is demanding its Chinese owners, as you say, ByteDance, sell their stake in the social media giant, or else the administration is threatening a possible ban of the app here in the U.S., which would likely face major legal challenges, by the way. Now, this source also cautioned to me that the company does not see this as a final order.
Imagine you knew nothing about TikTok and all you're seeing is it's just a symbol on a screen.
I don't get it. What's everyone hopped up about?
The news was first reported by the Wall Street Journal. We've reached out to the White House and to the Treasury Department overnight, but they declined to comment. At issue here, Joe, growing fears that China could use the app to access Americans' data, particularly because of a national security law there.
Growing fears that the Chinese could be taking the Americans' data. And I'm sure the American government is like, how dare you? Only we get your data. Only we get to watch your data, not the Chinese.
But just to play devil's advocate for a second, though, is that such a crazy attitude to have?
No,
especially if
it's nationalistic, it's protective. I get it. I get why they would want to do that. But let's first see the proof before that they're actually doing that.
Right.
That requires companies to turn over customer data if requested. Now, China is saying this morning that the U.S. had failed to prove that TikTok threatens national security. And overnight, TikTok is firing back in a statement. Let me read you part of that. They say if protecting national security is the objective, divestment doesn't solve the problem. A change in ownership would not impose any new restrictions on data flows or access. Now, the company went on to suggest that a robust third-party monitoring, vetting, and verification process is what's needed. They say they're already doing that.
There you go. They're saying, from TikTok's side, they're saying we already have someone who doesn't have invested interests monitoring, making sure we're not doing that.
Right, but
of course it's TikTok saying that, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But also I don't have much faith in the American government either, being you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. We want all the data. You don't get it. We're going to make our own TikTok.
Well, there would be a danger, right? I think most people kind of think at this point that they're being monitored by their government. Yeah,
Or a lot of. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening.
Yeah, a lot of
If
people.
I was a betting man, I'd probably bet the full house on that.
Right. So even if that's the case, though, right, which it almost seems like it really is, it's still not okay if another some other entity is doing that too. It's like, what is just while we're doing it?
Oh, it's a moral thing, I guess. Right?
Well, no, it's more like that would be a security threat.
Yes, I guess maybe.
If imagine, see, you found out that your neighbor hacked your internet and was looking at your stuff, and you're like, what the fuck? And then it was like, you found out that all the other neighbors on your street were doing it, you'd be like, well, there's already one, so why am I really... You'd be like, fuck! Let's have as least people looking at me as possible.
Well, I think beyond the data thing, I think there would be a bigger threat of promoting things that might hurt a country rather than the data. Like you've told me before, them pushing certain videos to go viral.
I have put out the theory before, it's not like there hasn't been strange tactics like back in the First World Wars, they developed mustard gas, like chemical warfare. This is a new way of
digital warfare,
fighting your enemies. And if you don't think that there's digital warfare, yeah, there is, right? And so I was just contemplating and thinking, because sometimes you'll come across things you just don't understand, right? There'll be a person doing something that most people would find, the common for people to be not be into, at least in the past, and then somebody's up to something that fringes on social norms, and they're really popular.
Yeah.
Just for a moment, I was thinking well, what if that was some kind of a psyop built into the app? The Americans, you're not getting the same version we use. The Americans are going to get the version where the algorithm pushes some crazy shit to the top. So then what the idea is that the youth or the different people in the country will see this and think, oh, that's the popular, cool thing to do. I'm going to start behaving that way because I want to have millions of hits too.
Yeah.
Have anybody that uses TikTok, you ever seen something on there you just don't understand? You're like, why the fuck does this have thousands of... Why is this so huge, That's just a throwaway theory. It's who knows? But this has nothing to do with that. This is all to do with security threat.
Yes, that's so called.
This latest move does come amid mounting pressure from Republicans who say President Biden hasn't been tough enough on TikTok. And some Republican sources were texting me overnight saying this is the right move, but they also accused the president of making this shift with the 2024 election looming large, Joe.
And yeah, Kristen, amid all this, too, is the fact that TikTok's CEO expected to testify on Capitol Hill next week. What can we expect from that hearing?
Yeah, this is going to be big, Joe. The CEO will be in the hot seat next week, as you say, testifying about all of this, about the potential security concerns for TikTok, about the potential impacts on younger users. So those are going to be among the questions that they'll be facing. And it does come.
The potential impact on younger users.
Yeah, maybe because of the addictive quality of TikTok. Maybe they're worried that it's hurting young people too much.
Well, it's funny because it's one thing if you're saying that it's not good for kids, so we're going to outlaw it because it's just not good for their health. It's another to say it was designed to be that way, which is now we're back into conspiracy world. Yeah. But I just want to put the caveat out there too. Remember, at the beginning of this thing, we said we both use it. I understand why people enjoy the app, and I don't want to shit on something somebody loves. There's some people who probably get an income from their what they've built on there.
Definitely.
I don't want to be sitting here saying all kinds of negative shit about it and then being like, what the,
Yeah.
I love the fucking thing. And by the sounds of it, that's the second video we're gonna watch. The guy's gonna explain.
It's the other side of the story. And just another side note there is that she said that both the Republicans and the Democrats agree on this. So my spidey sense gets tingling anytime both parties agree on one thing. It's because someone's being threatened at the top. And so I think the other video will kind of speak into that.
As the Senate introduced a bipartisan bill just last week to give the Biden administration effectively more power to make moves against tech platforms like TikTok, and it would allow the administration to ban operation of that. The White House has previously shown support for that legislation, but the bottom line here, Joe, all eyes will be on Capitol Hill next week.
All right, Kristen Welker, thank you so much.
All right.
TikTok is the most powerful tool to ever be put in the hands of the people in recorded history. And that's why the government wants to ban it. Because of this app, there's a powerful collective consciousness that exists amongst the middle and lower class parts of society that's never existed before. And the government's shitting its pants. I haven't watched the news in 2 years. If I want the truth, I come here. We're pulling back the curtain on the elite. We're learning how to get out of debt. We're discussing 4-day work weeks. We're talking about organizing, about boycotts, about unions. Not only that, but this app has disrupted Hollywood. TikTok isn't competing with Facebook and Instagram. It's competing with Netflix. Not to mention the juggernaut that is our failed American healthcare system has taken an absolute beating on this app. It's thrown a spotlight onto the deep-seated corruption of American politics. The government lets us keep our guns because it knows that the real weapon is knowledge. Knowledge is power. That's why they're coming for this app. They don't want us to have it. They don't want us to have a collective consciousness. But you can't unring the bell. Even if they delete this app, another one's going to take its place. Here's a few right here. Clapper, Huddles, and Likey, to name a few. Sorry, government. The people have power now, and there's no going back for us.
Wow, there was a lot said there.
Oh yeah, there was actually... He was so rapid fire saying everything. It's like, I was like, ooh, I like what he said there. I like what he said there. I don't know about that. I like what he said. You know.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If TikTok is the good thing that he's saying it is, you know, in terms of helping people organize and not be subject to just one very agenda-oriented news outlet. But it's not like there isn't bullshit that leads people astray too possible on there, you know? To be like, I don't watch the fucking news, but I also am not like, and therefore I'll get my news from TikTok. You know, I don't think I know if I agree. I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah. Me neither. I don't.
And you know, collective consciousness and all this shit. It's like sometimes I feel like people forget that they couldn't handle, you know, that there's a lot of things. We already have rules. You already can't go speeding through a busy neighborhood. You already can't just do whatever the fuck you want. You wouldn't want that to be the case, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when somebody says, oh, there's going to be a 4-day work week, I'm pro that.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that your attitude, your heart, and everything's in the right place.
I
think
think
is the point I'm trying to say.
I think here's an example. It's like you go to work. When you go to work, for a lot of people, not necessarily everyone, you go to work, you got to punch in. And when you're at work, there's cameras all over the place watching you, keeping you accountable.
Which is unsettling.
Making sure you're not putting your hand in the till and that stuff going on.
Yeah.
That's kind of what applications like TikTok are doing, but to the people that are in charge. And they're like, I don't like having to keep accountability of all the crap that I'm doing, because they're going into like council meetings and recording everyone now and sharing it with the entire world. This is all new. This never happened before.
But are we getting too?
But hold on, let me finish my point. What I'm saying is, I agree with him on the point that it's rattling them. They don't like it. They don't like that, like, people can see their politicians getting booed as they enter every building now. And that, like, it's raising conscious awareness, like he was saying. I think he's making a mistake by saying, well, I don't watch any news now and I just from TikTok. That I don't think is healthy. I think you need to take a holistic measure when it comes to, like, the sources that you get your info from. Because TikTok has a lot of bullshit on it. But I do like the idea of it keeping greater accountability to those who are in charge. The whole point of this was to, like, throw two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Usually can bring balance somewhere in the middle. You got one guy on one end, all giddy and hippity-hoppity about TikTok.
Yeah.
And then you got the other side of the spectrum saying, we might need to completely eliminate TikTok. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle, man. Like, I hear what you're saying. Calm down. Bring it down a notch. Mm-hmm. But that's why I like doing videos like this where we show opposite ends. Mm-hmm. Because I think there might be a little bit of a uniting force somewhere in there. It can show you. It can expose maybe the flaws or the kinks in the chain.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, well, you guys let us know in the comments what you think about this video. Whew, it's tense. All right. If you like this episode, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend, and everybody until next time, stay spiritual.